Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something really crucial in the corporate world. It's that persistent, kind of frustrating gap,
Mm.
between what companies say they'll do on sustainability and, well, what actually happens.
Exactly. That gap between commitment and real action. It's tough. So our mission today is pretty clear. We want to pull out the key things, the capabilities, the practical steps that actually help organizations bridge that divide.
Yeah.
We're leaning heavily on a big study here, mixed methods, looking at 234 surveys and 42 interviews, real-world stuff.
Right. So what we're aiming to give you today is essentially a framework for understanding real transformation, getting past those small, incremental steps that often don't add up.
Let's jump in. The research really starts with this core insight about inherent tensions.
Paradoxes, right?
Yeah, paradoxical tensions. Think about it. Sustainability forces companies to juggle, like short-term performance targets with long-term resilience. It's inherently contradictory sometimes. And the organizations that really succeed, they don't try to just solve the contradiction. They learn to navigate it. They call it this paradox navigation. And the data shows it's pretty significant, a beta of 0.31 for what it's worth.
So practically speaking, what does that mean? Navigating paradox is just, good management.
It's a bit more specific. It's about consciously moving from that either trap, either profits or the planet, to a both hand mindset. How can we do both?
Okay, both hand.
Yeah. And the best companies actually build practices around this, like acceptance practices, really leaning into the tension. And this both hand thinking becomes institutionalized. There was one example, Alpha Corporation. They actually set up formal paradox dialogue sessions.
Ah, interesting. To force the conversation.
Pretty much. To use that tension, that friction to spark innovation instead of just causing headaches, turning it into creative synthesis.
Got it. So that's the mindset piece, foundational. But you mentioned data. What did the numbers point to as the strongest factor?
Ah, right. So paradox navigation is important, definitely. But the single biggest predictor of actual sustainability success in this study, integration practices. Beta was 0.42, quite a bit higher.
Integration.
Meaning sustainability can't just live in a little green corner of the company,
Yeah.
A small team, an isolated department. That just doesn't work for real transformation. It has to be woven into the fabric of the organization.
Okay, so how does that happen? What does integration look like?
Well, the research points to four really key interconnected mechanisms. You kind of need them all working together. First is governance integration.
Meaning the board, the executive.
Exactly. Oversight right at the top. It's not just delegated down the chain. The leadership owns the sustainability outcomes.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next?
Second, strategic integration. Sustainability isn't just a footnote or like a CSR report appendix. It has to be a core part of the actual business strategy.
So baked into the plan from the start.
Right. Then third, operational integration. This is embedding sustainability criteria right into your core business processes. Think supply chain management, product design, R&D. It becomes part of how things get done day to day.
Not just a checkbox exercise.
Definitely not. And fourth, performance integration. This means linking sustainability metrics to how people are evaluated, their compensation, incentives, making it count in a tangible way.
Right. What gets measured gets managed, basically.
Okay.
And you mentioned this builds over time.
Absolutely. The study found stronger effects in organizations that were already further along the integration path. It creates these compound benefits as it matures and spreads. It reinforces itself.
Okay, so integration is huge.
Yeah.
But you hinted there was maybe another layer.
Yes, and this is critical. Integration, even done well, isn't always enough on its own. There's a significant interaction effect. The effectiveness of all that structural integration is moderated by power mobilization.
Power mobilization. Okay, break that down. It sounds a bit academic. Like office politics?
Well, maybe a more strategic version of it. Think of integration as building the engine for change. Power mobilization is like the specialized fuel and maybe the skilled driver needed to make that engine actually run effectively, especially through resistance.
Ah, I see. So you can have the best structure, but if you can't navigate the internal dynamics...
It stalls. Exactly. Structural changes need political savvy to actually land and stick.
So how do the successful change agents, the people pushing for this, how do they actually mobilize that power? How do they get the fuel?
They get smart about it. They use things like strategic framing. So they don't just talk about sustainability as the right thing to do, though it might be. They frame it in terms of business value efficiency, risk reduction, market opportunity.
Speaking the language of the business.
Precisely. And they build coalitions. They create alliances across different departments, breaking down silos to build political momentum for initiatives.
Interesting. So it's structure and strategy.
Structure and political strategy, yes. And one final nuance the study found: context matters. Paradox navigation seemed especially important in manufacturing, where you have complex material trade-offs,
Right. Very tangible dilemmas.
Whereas power mobilization, that had a stronger effect in service sectors, where maybe relationships and influence networks are more central to how things get done.
Fascinating. Okay, so let's try and wrap this up for the listener. What's the core takeaway here?
Okay, so if you want substantive action, not just talk, it really requires tackling three things at once. You need that foundational both-hand mindset paradox navigation. You absolutely need deep systemic integration across governance, strategy, operations, performance, and crucially, you need to actively mobilize power to make those structures work and overcome inevitable resistance. It's that combination.
A three-legged stool, almost.
Pretty much. And doing this aligns directly with big goals like the UN SDGs, particularly responsible consumption and production and partnerships.
Right. So here's a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. If integrating sustainability into the existing systems, accommodating those tensions and building power works so well, what are the limits? What happens when the system itself might be the deeper problem? Is accommodation, is integration always going to be enough to get us where we need to go for true long-term sustainability? Or, do some of those fundamental contradictions eventually need to be resolved, maybe even eliminated, rather than just managed?
That's a big question.
Something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.